Welcome back to our hockey studio and the Rethink the Rink livecast. Rethink the Rink is a unique collaboration between the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Carnegie Mellon University, and Covestro. This week, every day, we'll take a look at behind the scenes of this amazing collaboration and talk with direct participants. On Monday, we talked with Phil Bork, a former hockey player from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and yesterday we had a chat with Dan Bourgeois from Bauer Hockey, the equipment manufacturer's perspective. If you missed any of these two broadcasts, just go to YouTube, type in hashtag Rethink the Rink, and you'll find them. Today, I have the great pleasure of having Mark Bundy with us, a senior application development engineer from Covestro. He has joined this week's Makeathon virtual sessions with the students, and today we'll chat about what difference materials make, even if we have to talk about them virtually. Let's see if we are able to get a good, clean line to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Hey, Nico. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
And we have Mark on the line. That is fantastic. So before we kick off our conversation, let me again remind you that this is a live broadcast. So you can comment and ask questions and do your protests, even difficult ones, by typing in your comments on this channel. Mark and I will be able to respond nearly to them in real time. But before we kick off, let's take a quick peek inside the Tech Spark at Carnegie Mellon University. Our amazing video producer, JW, thank you, JW, was able to catch my colleague Russ on location in the action. So let's take a look at the situation at Carnegie Mellon this morning.
This is year 4 of the Rethink the Rink Makeathon event, and the partnership between Covestro, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Carnegie Mellon is already off to a great start. In each of the past 3 years, we've walked away from this event with some real, tangible success stories to the tune of developing prototypes with some of the premier names in the sport of hockey. What we see behind me is the CMU students working virtually with Covestro material experts and some CMU staff to make the magic happen and see what the products can do. And if what I'm hearing is any indication of what we're going to see this week, then it's going to be another great success this year.
So that was quite amazing. Mark, let our audience know what you do when you're not coaching ice hockey Makeathon students.
Yeah, sure thing. So right now I work in the application development group for PCS in Pittsburgh. I primarily serve the EEA industry, so a lot of electronics customers, but I touch a little bit of automotive as well sometimes. I like the electronics industry because it's really fast-paced. It seems like a new product comes out every year from some of these OEMs. So it's really cool how things change quickly and it's fast-paced and dynamic. To support our customers, I do a lot of computer simulations. I do mold flows, abacus, structural analyses, and even some CFD and thermal analyses as well, just to make sure that our resins are going to perform the way that we think they will for our customers. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, but I'm also going back to school for my MBA right now. So I'm hoping that that gives me a nice combination of technical and commercial experience to continue Covestro growing into the future.
Thanks, Mark. And our audience, you can see we have a real expert on the line. So if you have any questions about polycarbonates or mechanical engineering or hockey, now is your chance. Mark, if I remember correctly, you have been part of this undertaking from the very beginning. So can you share with us, how did you become a part of this? And what is your role as a materials expert and coach, specifically in the ice hockey Makeathon?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be a part of every Makeathon so far. I remember when the project came up back in 2018, and my manager had said, there's a project we might be working with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Do you want to be a part of it? I said, absolutely. I've been a hockey fan. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so getting the chance to work with the Penguins was something that I couldn't pass up. We definitely didn't really know what we were getting into. We were, I don't know, skeptical is not the right word, but we were wondering how we can combine different materials that we Covestro make, and how we can make the hockey game safer. And so we were blown away with the results from the first year, and each year is compounded, and we've gotten even stronger and even better performance each year. It's been really fun to be a part of. The other fun thing is, getting to talk to you, Nico. So it's really good to talk again, and hopefully next year it'll be in person. Along with that, some of the other things we do, I try to get some of the samples so that the students have a feel for what polycarbonate is, and from some of the other business units as well, as far as polyurethane foams and TPUs. We try to get samples to them so that they can get a feel and touch and see what they're actually like. Because a lot of these students are from different areas. Some of them are computer scientists, computer engineers. So they've never really worked with polycarbonate before, or some of these other materials. So it's part of my duty is to kind of get some of that down there and teach them how to use it. And even some of the Makeathon products too. Some of the newer carbon fiber reinforced products we're really excited about at Covestro. It's really cool to see these in the hands of some of these smart and bright engineers and students at CMU.
And that's so if there's one place in the world to make an ice hockey Makeathon, probably Pittsburgh is one of those great places, because the entire city seems to be involved in sports, many of them in hockey sports. So the chance of finding ice hockey interested colleagues from Covestro is, I guess, fairly high. And it's also, I think, fantastic to see the width of the materials that the students are able to employ, and using that unprejudiced stance of creating innovation with materials. I'm always blown away by the inventiveness that we're seeing from the students. So today is Wednesday. We are in the middle of the Makeathon week. Can you walk us through a little bit from what has happened from Monday until today, and what's happening tomorrow, and the big day on Friday?
Yeah. So we're halfway through already, which is hard to believe. Monday is kind of information gathering day. So there's a large presentation in the morning where some of the old Penguins players will come in and talk about their experiences with the helmets or different equipment, whatever we're focusing on that year. Then there's a couple hours worth of time where the Covestro folks will come in and teach a little bit about the 4 different components that they have at their disposal: the polyurethane foams, polycarbonates, TPU, and some of the elastomers as well. So each of these have different properties, different trade-offs, and they could be applied in different ways to the different hockey equipment pieces. So there's at least an hour spent on that on Monday. From there, Tuesday's typically team building, and the students start to come up with any idea they can think of. So pretty much at this point, no ideas are off limits. So just get as many out there as you can. I think some of the teams are up to like 20 and 30 ideas. It's crazy how quickly they come up with these things. So that's Tuesday. There's a coaching session that day, so we'll call in, and we typically have about 15 to 20 minutes with each team. We help them think about which ideas are have the most merit, which ones are more difficult to manufacture, which ones might be easier, and which materials might lend themselves to what they're trying to do. On Wednesday, today, the teams start to narrow down on their 1 or 2 biggest ideas, the ones they think they'll have the most impact and that are the most feasible to really implement. So I was just getting out of the meeting actually about an hour ago. So the ideas are flowing right now. There's some really good ones that are coming out, so I'm excited to see them later on. Tomorrow, it's already hard to believe we're already halfway through, and then tomorrow will be basically the day where the students prepare some of their posters and their presentations. So I'll be in another session with them to review and make sure that they're prepared for their pitches on Friday, which is judging day, and that's when we'll get to see some of the really cool ideas come to life a little bit. I'm excited for it.
So, Mark, I gotta ask you this, because in this picture, they're all looking at you, and you are at home coaching the Carnegie Mellon students about materials. So obviously you catch their attention because everybody is so focusedly looking at you.
Yeah.
I have the picture from the other side, so actually I can verify it is you. So what are your tips and tricks how to engage virtually when talking about physical materials? Doing like this for our audience.
Yeah, so doing it remotely is definitely not as great as being there in person. Being able to engage face to face, and facial expressions are more easy to interpret, that kind of thing. But I made sure that when I was talking to the students, that if I was referencing the material, I'd say, "Hey, go grab that. And let's talk about that one." We'll pass it around and get people touching it simultaneously while I'm talking through it. So that was one of the ways we tried to engage a little bit more. We're doing our best with what we have. I would say that we're probably about 95% of the way there as far as still being able to communicate effectively. So besides just a few audio problems getting started, sometimes I don't think we're losing track on anything, and the students are definitely engaged, and it's cool to see the inventiveness, like you said before. I don't think it's going to deteriorate the result in any way.
And certainly, it looks like the full engagement is there, despite of having this kind of pandemic bridge, which is luckily slowly fading away. Mark, I know you go to customer meetings in between, and you work with professional clients. What's the difference from your perspective, working with corporate clients and then working with young students? How is that different from your perspective?
It's definitely a nice change of pace. So, in the commercial world, everything is, profit focused and things. So you want to get to a result, and it's working with the students, I would say, is a little bit more entrepreneurial. It seems like they're developing a product from scratch. And like I was starting to get at before, it's really cool to see how these students think about the problem in different ways because they come from such different backgrounds. So there's teams that have electrical engineers, and then there's a computer scientist and a materials person, and it's just so cool to see the different opinions come through. And so that just speaks to having a diverse team. So in some way, having diversity is a parallel in both applications. It's just working with the students, I'd say, is a lot more fun. It's a nice change of pace, and I always look forward to this project every year.
Which is not saying our customers are not fun, but
yes, yeah,
they are different in a more fun way.
Yeah.
So, Mark, thank you so much for taking time out. I know you had a busy day today, and this continues very busy with the students tomorrow. And actually, tomorrow we will have a couple of students joining this live cast at the same time, at the same channel, to share their perspectives. So make sure you dial in tomorrow again so you can see, and ask questions directly to the students on what Mark has been up to with them. So, Mark, thank you so much for joining the live cast. We end it here for today, and we'll be tuning back tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Nico. Go Pens.
Go Pens. Bye-bye.